Can you feel the change in the air? Right now, temperatures are starting to plummet and the winds are picking up as the Triad prepares for a brutal cold snap. The drastic drop in temperatures overnight is why this evening we have a WFMY News 2 Weather Impact Alert Day. I'm Ben Briscoe, and with it getting so cold, the city of Greensboro is stepping in to help keep people warm. The city is now activating its White Flag Warming Center at First Baptist Church tonight. It's over on West Friendly Avenue. Doors open in about an hour to single adults and families, extending into tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Now let's turn to Alex Williams for a look at what we're in for tonight.
Oh, that gust just hit and it was cold. And I've only been out here for about 5 minutes. I'll probably have to throw the toboggan on. You do need the hat. You do need the gloves. You do need the layers. I have about 5 layers on, including this jacket, just to keep warm. But, you know, it's our job to show you how cold it is and how dangerous it can be if you're outside for long periods of time, which is why we have issued the weather impact alert days tonight after 6 o'clock through 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Dangerous cold. You do not want to be outside unless you absolutely have to be. And if you do have to be, you need to wear lots of layers. This is something to take very seriously. Well, it didn't stay that way, though. We're actually pretty warm. Our high actually reached around midnight in the mid-40s, even some 50s on the map there. That has long since passed as temperatures have now plummeted here in Greensboro into some of those very cold temperatures and the cold readings. And you add the wind gusts as you get hit by those, it really lowers the temperature very quickly. And so we are going to continue to watch those temperatures plunge into the teens through the overnight hour. Dangerous cold. This is for work tomorrow, for the bus stop. You got to wear lots of layers, cover up that exposed skin because the tips of my ears right now, very cold. And so you got to bundle up, you got to cover up, and all that exposed skin, any of that could be, you could get some frostbite from that. So you definitely want to wear lots and lots of layers for that. We'll watch those temperatures plummet, and it feels like plummet as we go through the next couple of hours tonight. It's going to feel below zero in many locations. In fact, I mean, temperatures tonight are supposed to get down to around 13 degrees. And so we'll continue to see those temperatures drop. The wind not helping, of course, and we're going to continue to see it remain a factor. This is the feels like. This is what it's going to feel like. Dangerously cold into the overnight hours, into those single digits. So again, if you don't have to be outside, don't be outside, please. You really don't want to be outside unless you absolutely love frigid cold air. In the mountains, they have been below freezing already. We're going to fall into those single digits. And again, it is going to be dangerously cold this evening, which is why we issued that weather impact alert day. And so we're going to continue, of course, to watch these temperatures continue to plummet as we go through the overnight hours. Now, there is hope. There is hope. There's always hope, right? As we go through this stretch of weather, we are going to see things warm up. So we're talking temperatures warming back to those 50s, even close to 60, I believe, on Thursday, and temperatures staying a little more mild on that stretch, plus another chance of rain. The good news is, again, even though we're dealing with the Arctic chill right now, it will relent, or it will let up, and we will return to some of those warmer seasonal averages and even above average by late week.
5 layers? Dude, that's impressive. Get back in here and warm up. As we continue to deal with this bitter cold spell, we have to make sure that you're prepared. So download the WFMY News 2 weather app for updates on how long it will last. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, where you'll find helpful advice for the cold, including Christina Dillon's post on how to keep your pets safe.
Christina Dillon with WFMY News 2 here. We are getting into winter fast. It seems every once, twice, 3 times a week, we're hitting pretty low temperatures. We checked in with a canine shift lead at a doggy daycare in Greensboro today to talk about what are some things that we might forget that we need to remember about keeping our pups safe while it gets this cold. So some things we learned is you're always going to want to check the water bowls. They can actually freeze like that when they are outside. It's something that could easily slip your mind, but you want to make sure your dog always has access to water if they're, playing outside or going on a potty break outside. Another thing is going to be making sure that maybe they have a sweater, maybe they have a coat, upping their wardrobe. When you're going on walks, it could get very cold. Another thing with walks, you can actually put Vaseline on your dog's feet to keep them protected and also so they don't slip on ice or any type of, snow, sleet that might be on the ground. And always watch for salt when you're walking your dog, or, have them out. Maybe they're kind of sniffing around and there might be salt. Salt can be toxic to dogs. So making sure that, you're just watching what they're doing, watching what they might be picking at or, nosing around with. Another thing is, of course, you're always going to want to make sure if your dog is outside, which they shouldn't be for an extended period of time, they're always going to need to have some shelter outside. Even if, it's a quick potty break or it's a quick playing outside, just to have some blankets down, something where they can go and retreat and easily, quickly warm up.
A major road is reopened tonight after a crash this morning. All southbound lanes of I-785 between Burlington Road and the I-40 interchange are good to go again. Officers first responded around midnight and stayed there throughout much of the morning. Police say the crash involved an overturned vehicle and at least one injury, but they've not released details on how that person is doing or what caused the crash. This evening, there is new information from the shooting at Brown University that left 2 students dead and 9 others injured. Today, local police took a person of interest into custody, and the shelter-in-place order for the university and the surrounding community finally lifted. Tom Hansen has the latest from Providence.
A person of interest is in custody in connection with Saturday's shooting at Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island.
While a suspect has been detained, our work as a state is not over.
The shooting, which happened in a university building late Saturday during a final exam review session, left 2 students dead and 9 others injured.
I had a chance to meet with a few of the victims and their families, and the resilience that these survivors showed and shared with me is frankly pretty overwhelming.
Sources tell CBS News the person in custody is 24 years old and that the nature of the attack was a possible grudge shooting. The person of interest was taken into custody at a Hampton Inn hotel in Coventry, Rhode Island.
The investigation continues to progress extremely fast. We're in the process of collecting evidence and seizing items that we need to seize, search locations that we need to search.
Here in Providence, Brown University students continue to reel from the events that unfolded during final exams and just ahead of winter break.
I've never been through anything even close to this. You always kind of like, we do the drills in high school, like the lockdown drills. You think you're like prepared for it, but I think also with just like being in college, it's just different. Not everybody like is from the U.S. Not everybody has like the drills, the experience, and it's just like the scope of things. It's just, especially for like freshmen, and like it's just, you can't be prepared for it.
Authorities continue to work to determine if the person responsible for Saturday's violence acted alone. Tom Hansen, CBS News, Providence, Rhode Island.
This evening, at least 15 people are dead after police say a father and son opened fire during a Hanukkah celebration. It happened in Australia on Sydney's Bondi Beach, one of the country's most popular tourist locations. It's Australia's deadliest mass shooting in nearly 3 decades, and locals there are in shock, saying this just doesn't happen there.
It's just unbelievable that in Australia this is allowed to happen. We're supposed to be the lucky country. We're supposed to be a country where people are allowed to express their religion freely, and where something like this happens is unbelievable.
Australian officials say among the deceased are people as young as 10 and as old as 87, with at least 38 people also injured. The shooting is the latest in a deadly weekend of violence around the world that includes the deaths of 2 U.S. soldiers and 1 civilian in Syria, along with the shooting at Brown University. Today, President Donald Trump paid his respects to those killed or injured this weekend during a reception at the White House.
I want to just pay my respects to the people unfortunately. 2 are no longer with us. Brown University, 9 injured, and 2 are looking down on us right now from heaven. And likewise in Australia, as you know, that was a terrible attack. 11 dead, 29 badly wounded. And that was an anti-Semitic attack, obviously. And I just want to pay my respects to everybody. I must say in Syria also, we had an attack in Syria, and we had 3 great patriots terminated by bad people.
As these stories develop, be sure to follow all of the updates on air and online at WFMYnews2.com. On the week before Christmas, a Republican health care plan is emerging in Congress, and it could have a direct impact on millions of Americans. The proposal would expand health plans through your job. It would also help cut costs for some people on the Affordable Care Act marketplace. But it does not extend the enhanced subsidies that are set to expire at the end of the year. Without action, some Americans could see their premiums more than double, according to the nonpartisan Kaiser Family Foundation.
We want to give the money to the people and let the people buy their own great health care. And they'll save a lot of money, and it'll be great.
Tens of millions of Americans are now about to experience dramatically increased health insurance premiums. That's totally unacceptable.
Left to pass legislation before the subsidies expire, with health care costs for many families hanging in the balance as the new year begins. A Kentucky family has turned a tragic loss into a yearly act of service. After a 5-year-old Tessa died from leukemia, her family has channeled their grief into helping others fighting the same battle. Chris Arnold shows us how. Okay, we're going to get to that later on. Hopefully at 11 o'clock we'll be able to bring that to you. Right now, let's get back to Alex with a check of this brutal cold on the way.
Yeah, Ben, it is definitely no joke out there. It is very, very cold. I had 5 layers on. I have, the undershirt, my dress shirt. I have my actual jacket on, and then I had the puffer jacket on over that.
Does the tie count as a layer too?
The tie does count as a layer, I guess. So 6 layers, right? We do have that weather impact alert day. I do want to bring this up because this is very important. Cold weather safety is paramount when we're talking about. I was outside for 5 minutes and you could rapidly feel the heat loss. And so if you're not properly prepared and you step outside, it could be dangerous. That's why we've issued that. So you want to check on people. We're talking specifically people that are going to be more impacted by the cold, those with maybe chronic diseases, the elderly, kids as well. And so you really got to check in on them, make sure that they're doing okay, they have a warm place, the homeless especially. I'm so thankful that Greensboro opening up the warming center tonight. That will be necessary because it'll be dangerous, life-threatening cold tonight. We'll be in the teens tomorrow. I think the wind does back off, Ben, but we're talking temperatures in the teens, 14 degrees. Kids need to wear lots of layers at the bus stop. If you're going out to work, you need to wear lots of layers as well. This is not one of those you can just brave the cold type thing, Hey, okay, we all know you're tough guys and gals out there, but we need to be prepared with this type of cold.
The best advice for people, just stay home if you can.
Yeah, really. Unless you have to be outside, don't be outside.
It's not a nice night out there at all.
No, it is. It's gross, as Ben Briscoe would say, right?
Definitely gross indeed. Hey, Alex is going to stay here and update you on Plus all evening long. So keep checking back for the updates as that cold keeps rolling.
Yeah, I'll have one here at 6:30.
We'll see you in a minute.